The Fed15 podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a fiduciary, fee-based financial planning firm serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is presented for information and entertainment only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed therein are not the opinion of Raymond James or Serving Those Who Serve. Hey, everybody. We are back with a new episode of the Fed15 podcast for you this week. Now, if you are not familiar, we've had a couple episodes thus far, but the Fed15 podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve.
That's us.
That is us. That is us. And each week we get together to discuss the latest news and info that feds need to know in 15 minutes or less, sometimes 15 minutes-ish. So whether you're a seasoned federal employee or whether you're just starting out in your career, Fed15 has got you covered. Grab your coffee, kick back, and we will tell you what you need to know but might have missed this week in news related to feds. We are your hosts, Katelyn Murray and
Dan Sipe.
Awesome. The lovely Dan Sipe joining us again this week.
You can't get rid of me, Katelyn. I just keep showing up.
Yeah, true.
I'm like laundry. I'm like laundry.
Yeah.
It just never stops, you know.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I definitely have that. I probably should do some more laundry today, actually. Yeah.
And the great thing about the Fed15 podcast is you don't have to watch. You can listen. So you can do your household tasks and listen to this.
Let us be your laundry buddies. There we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
We're on YouTube and also Spotify. So Spotify would be your if you want to listen to us, you know. So we sort of have a face for radio. You want to listen instead of watching.
Not true.
Awesome. Well, what do we have on our docket this week to discuss, Dan?
So, we have two things this week that are pretty relevant. One has to do with FERS retirement. And in my mind, the difference between deferred and postponed, and I'll go into detail on that. And then, Katelyn, understand you'll be covering some interesting things relative to Social Security because there was a survey done. And a lot of people don't know how it works. Mm-hmm. So we want to head that off. So let's jump in. Pet peeve of mine is when I hear deferred and postponed used interchangeably because they are very different. So quick rule of thumb, deferred, postponed 101. If you are eligible to retire on an immediate annuity, then it's postponed. If you have at least 5 years, but you're not yet eligible, you're deferred. So just remember that. And here's why it's important. So with a FERS deferred retirement, that means you've gotten at least 5 years of service. And there's actually a lot of people out there like that. So that's why I always kind of encourage people, if you come into federal service and you find that it's not for you, but you've got at least 5 years, don't pull those retirement contributions right away. Because it can be pretty nice to have that little supplement coming in later. And it is an astonishing amount of income for the amount that you left in there. I'm just telling you that right now. If you doubt me, test me. Between me and Ed Zerndorfer, we will show you that you can't invest that money and get a bigger income out of it. I simply don't believe it unless you are taking ridiculous risk and they have a chance of losing it. So here are the rules for if you have at least 5 years of service. 5 to 19 years of service, you can claim your pension at 62. 20 to 29 years, you can claim it at 60. And with at least 30 years, it can be your MRA. Now, Katelyn, I'm a plain-spoken guy. You got 30 years in? Hang in till MRA because you had to have started really, really young. So hang in. Come see me. I'll talk you into it. I promise. And I'll even make it sound like a good idea. And you won't walk away going, oh, yeah, I met the guy again. And he told me I have to stay. I promise you I'll make you feel good about it. So here's huge difference. Unlike that postponed retirement, which we'll cover another time, you don't hang on to your health insurance. So when you pick up that pension income, you're not picking up the FEHB. Another distinction. All the sick leave you saved, Gonski. Okay. You do not get to keep that. It's not going to count. And it's not going to count towards your total eligibility. It never does. COLAs do not take effect until 62. So if you start at 60, you're going to wait 2 years. And relative to your survivor benefits, you got to have at least 10 years in. Okay. So there are a couple of weird little twists and things like that in there. But the biggest thing is don't mix them up. Because if you've listened to my other podcasts, if you've listened to me on our webinars, I think the ability to keep health insurance in retirement is $1 million benefit. I truly do. So I am a bug about encouraging people, no matter what, to put themselves in a position where they can, for starters, and do not lose that benefit. So just remember, okay, deferred, you're not ready to go out right now, but you still got to get out of here. Okay, you can't get a pension right now, and for whatever reason, you're leaving. And second point to take away from this, don't be too quick to pull those retirement contributions.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to invest them in such a way that you're getting a higher rate of return that income is going to come out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me on that.
Yeah.
So what you got for us on Social Security?
Yeah. I mean, I think just one last thing on the first topic, I think we really can't state that health insurance benefit strongly enough. In fact, I would go so far as to say, and I talk with folks about this in meetings, when we look at a projection, we run a retirement plan and we kind of project out into the future, like what every year of cash flow is going to look like in retirement. One of those big line items, we kind of figure out how much we want to spend in retirement on a monthly basis. One of the big line items is healthcare costs. And if you are going into retirement with FEHB coverage, I mean, I would go so far as to say I think it's the single most important benefit that our feds get when it comes to retirement planning, having run thousands of plans, having looked at the question of should I retire earlier and just kind of forego this health insurance and save more. I mean, it really, really, really is a huge deciding factor, I think, in a lot of folks' financial plans. So yeah, don't be too quick to give it up for sure.
Indeed.
Pivoting a little bit here, kind of staying under the umbrella of fixed income, let's talk a little bit about Social Security. So it has come to our attention that people don't understand Social Security, apparently. So there was a study from AARP that actually came out recently. There were about 14,000 responses. And of those 14,000, about 5,087 of those people were older Americans. Now, I believe I kind of did a little bit of digging in this paper, and I believe they are terming older Americans as folks in their 50s and 60s. So,
ouch.
Definitely a relative term.
Ouch.
But yeah, definitely a relative term. But they basically asked these folks to predict their Social Security income amount. So what amount of income can you expect to receive from Social Security in retirement once you start collecting? And they gave the prediction, and then they reported what they actually received and what they actually received in the year 2021, to be specific. About 25% of those older folks, older Americans, underestimated the annual amount of their Social Security to the tune of $5,000 per year.
That sounds like a meaningful percentage to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just the 25%, but the $5,100 miss.
Exactly. Yeah. So people were, I'm, as a planner, right, kind of have my conservative hat on when it comes to income in retirement, right? We always want to be conservative about income that we're receiving, and we want to be, we want to slightly overestimate maybe what we're spending when we're looking at doing planning. But it is good to know, right? When we are doing planning work, when I'm writing plans for a client, assumptions are unescapable. You cannot escape the fact that you're going to have to make some assumptions. We're going to have to make some assumptions about what you're spending in healthcare. We're going to have to make some assumptions here and there, but we want to make sure, number one, that we're clear about what those assumptions are. And number two, that we limit those as much as possible. And the great news about Social Security is that you can limit your assumptions around that because your Social Security benefit statement gets updated once per year and it is available online to you 24/7. Now, Social Security used to send paper statements out to everybody who was 25 or older at least once per year. Yep. They used to mail them out every year. You get that paper statement. Since 2018, though, they've stopped sending paper statements unless you specifically request them online. And I think there was a period of time where they would only send them out like every 5 years. But you can access them online on the Social Security website. It is ssa.gov.
And
so
folks,
you go to,
I can do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Non-digital native here can do it. It's actually very, my opinion, user-friendly. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yep. No, it is definitely, I don't always say this about government websites, but ssa.gov is super user-friendly. It is super intuitive, very easy to use. So if you go to ssa.gov, you can sign up for a My Social Security account, and then you can check your Social Security benefit anytime you like online. It will get updated with your work history if you are still working. And this study that we took a look at actually showed that those who checked their Social Security benefit statement at least once per year had better predictions than those who did not, which makes sense, right? So, really important when you're looking at planning for retirement to know what you've got, right? A lot of what we help our clients with is kind of just getting your hands around what you've got. And Social Security is obviously a huge part of that. You want to know kind of what's going on there. The other slight change that's been proposed in a new bill, there is a bill that is mandating bringing back the paper statements so that folks who are not online savvy can see those statements. The other change is that they would change the term full retirement age, which we hear a lot, to standard eligibility age. So just kind of a terminology change.
Okay, I'm okay with half of those ideas. Okay. Yeah. I'm fine with the standard eligibility age. I get it. Don't want to say FRA, like, hey, you can just put your feet up. But, all right, come on. We got better ways to spend money than making printing. Sure that we mail something to somebody so they understand what I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but feed some kids with that money, something, Yeah. So now I'm okay with one of them, not okay with the other, just letting you know.
Yeah. No, I definitely think the ssa.gov website, it's very easy. So I encourage you, if you have not taken a look at it, please do. Yeah, Dan can do it. Dan Seitz can do it.
Dan can, awesome. You can.
Exactly. And that was really all that we kind of had going on this week, just kind of focusing in on those. It was interesting that both of our topics this week were fixed income based, right?
Yep.
FERS is a fixed income portion of our Fed's retirement package. So is Social Security. I do just want to make brief mention that when you're looking at those fixed income components of your overall retirement, you want to make sure that you're factoring those kind of income streams in when you're doing things like allocating your TSP, when you're looking at your other investment accounts, even non-retirement investment accounts. You want to kind of make sure that you're factoring that fixed income stream in, because since you do have access to FERS, whereas people who are not Feds do not, that might mean that you can take a little more risk in some other places, depending on all of the different factors that go into your retirement. So that's one of the reasons that I think it's so important to work with a Fed-focused financial advisor, because we do kind of understand those fixed income streams that come along with being a Fed, those other benefits.
Agree. Yep. Whether you're an I can do it or help me through it, we got you.
Exactly.
Well, that's all the time we got today, folks. That went fast. We'll be back next week to bring you the latest updates that you need to make the best decisions about your career as a well-informed Fed.
Definitely. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on our YouTube channel or on Spotify if you're a Spotify person, just to make sure you never miss an episode. And please remember to share it with your friends and colleagues. Sharing the show and sharing, spreading the word about serving those who serve is one of the most powerful things that you can do to support us. And we thank you so much if you already kind of spread the word.
Absolutely. And for more information on the topics that we've covered today and more, lots more, be sure to check out the blogs at blog.stabyserve.com. Subscribe to our newsletter, The Weekly Serving, and you'll get all this stuff delivered right to your inbox. You can't beat it.
Absolutely. And for those who want to dive even deeper into learning about your federal benefits and financial planning for feds, we really encourage you to join us for one of our complimentary webinars. They are 100% free. They're 100% no obligation. One of the big things that we do here at Serving Those Who Serve is, focus on educating feds. As Dan said, whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or whether you want to actually work with a financial planner, we can help you either way. We have some good ones coming up actually on FERS. We've got a webinar coming up on July 7th that just gives a really, really good, thorough overview on FERS and how that system works. We also have a tax planning session coming up on July 12th. That is a really popular one.
Yep.
There are lots of tax eccentricities with the TSP and other elements of your federal retirement that you really need to know about and be prepared to manage and tackle. So definitely recommend joining us for one of those webinars. You can check out all of our other topics on our website. Or if you prefer a one-to-one approach, feel free to reach out to our team directly for a financial planning consultation one-on-one at askstws@stwserve.com.
Yep. We will get you hooked right up. Thanks for listening to Fed15. I'm Dan Sipe.
And I'm Katelyn Murray.
And we will see you next week.
Take care.